Wait, what is nuke?
What is nuke? Hi, I'm Tyler Fultz. I'm a nuclear engineer with a little over 10 years of experience in the commercial nuclear power industry, from engineering to operations to emergency response. I don't claim to know everything there is nuclear, but I can certainly share some knowledge. Today we're going to be looking at another requested Salmonella Academy video called A Brief History of Sushi. Let's check this one out.
Hey kids, it's Food Friday. So today's lesson is on the history of sushi. Sushi first came into existence in Japan around the 8th century. It consisted of gutted, salted fish stored in fermented rice. You know, this half-rotting rice is good and all, but I can still smell things. Yeah, and I'm not having nearly as much diarrhea as I would like to be. What should we do? Raw fish. Raw fish. I was thinking exactly the same thing. God, we are so in sync. Nah, but actually, the rice wasn't meant to be eaten. It was only used as a means of preservation. You see, the fermenty juices of the rice would soak into the fish and prevent it from spoiling. However, as semi-rancid food often does, it would also impart a sour taste on the fish. That's where the name sushi comes from, an antiquated Japanese term for sour tasting. Also, it smelled like death. The odor is described as an extremely pungent cross between blue cheese, fish, and vinegar.
This reminds me of the Terrari video. He always goes into how nasty the odor is with some historian's account on the matter. It's just brilliant. You can almost smell it yourself.
Man, I'm mad. Why's that? I smelled something down the road. Thought a new sushi vendor was in town. Turns out, it was just a hobo taking a piss on a tuna sandwich. Later on, during the late Edo period, people started pickling the rice, which drastically shortened the required fermentation time. So now, rather than smelling like blue cheese, fish, and vinegar, it just smelled like fish and vinegar.
Improvement.
Go figure. People found this rice to be much more palatable, so it began to be eaten alongside the fish. Sheet seaweed was also invented around 1750, which allowed the contemporary sushi roll to take form around this time.
There you go.
Toss in a couple vegetables, and you've got something much more resemblant to today's sushi. During the late 19th century, many Japanese emigrated to America to escape the imperial takeover of Japan, which was known as the Meiji Restoration. It just so happens that they brought the concept of sushi with them, which enjoyed brief popularity among the upper class during the turn of the 20th century.
Some dank-ash fish thingies. Oh, that is so good. So on the subject of Japanese seafood exports, there's been a lot of things in the news about the Fukushima liquid waste discharge and fear over it causing radiation poisoning. I think China banned all forms of Japanese seafood. Well, just to put a little bit of perspective on that, this water isn't wastewater, it is treated water. And it goes through something called the Advanced Liquid Processing System, where this water is filtered, treated, and simply just held up so the radioactive isotopes can decay a little bit, as well as further processed so it can be safely discharged. These sort of things exist in is pretty common in nuclear power plants within the United States as well. The power plant that I worked at has an ALPS. But news see anything from a nuclear power plant, they're going to assume it's radioactive death water of sorts. But that is not the case. It is well below the Japanese health standards. The main isotope of concern is tritium, or hydrogen-3, which exists somewhat naturally within water, but this is a boiling water reactor, or just like a pressurized water reactor. It has the hydrogen has the chance to absorb neutrons in the neutron field during the nuclear reactor while the reactions are taking place, and you get tritium as a byproduct. You're going to get more tritium in a nuclear power plant than you would. That is one of the isotopes that is quite heavily regulated by, in the United States, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. And every country has their own health guidelines for what levels of tritium are safe. And this was well below the safe threshold requirements for Japanese health standards, and the amount of tritium is only 1/7 of what is tritium levels that are deemed safe by the World Health Organization. So we're fine. Now, and this level is higher, since this is post-accident levels of radioactivity, than you would see at a regular nuclear power plant that didn't suffer an accident. The fact that post-accident is still 1/7 of the danger threshold is remarkable.
However, coinciding with the imperial takeover was the fact that Japan started being kind of a dick. Hey, freedom is gay. What did you just say?
Oh,
yeah, your way of life is for pussies. Oh yeah? Guess we'll just stop eating your dumb fucking fish roll things then. Hey, fuck you, you cheeseburger slut. I'll nuke your bitch ass. Wait, what is nuke?
What is nuke? I hope that's on a t-shirt somewhere. This little cutesy Japan with the arms yelling, saying, what is nuke? What's interesting is the term nuke, even as a nuclear engineer, the two most common uses of it are something you stick in a microwave or the use of nuclear weapons. It's like no in between. That's just funny, though.
3 years, you'll see. And thus, sushi lost its place in the West. Cut to the early 1960s.
It comes back.
World War II tensions are mostly gone, and refrigeration is everywhere. This allowed sushi to again rise in America, this time for good. By the 1980s, sushi restaurants were everywhere, especially along the West Coast. But as you can imagine, American sushi saw significant alteration in order to appeal more to the Western palate. For example, if you went to Japan and asked for cream cheese in your roll, they'd probably just put you on a raft and gently push you out to sea. But to each their own, and today sushi is more popular than ever. So kids, remember to be careful of who you make fun of, because the weird smelly kid of today might just be the next big thing tomorrow.
That's true. Often, some weird, crazy entrepreneurs, you use someone like Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos, everyone, well, look at them now. That was hilarious as always. Again, I really would like to see a, what's nuke? Not what's a nuke, just what's nuke. The delivery of that was so good on a t-shirt or something. But let me know what you think about some overblown media things, such as the everything nuclear is radioactive death stuff. One of my favorites on that is probably the great dihydrogen monoxide hoax that always seems to come up every 10 years or so, and it gets in front of some member of Congress or Parliament or what have you to get them to ban dihydrogen monoxide by saying it's toxic, it's used in nuclear reactors, too much of it will kill you, which is all technically true of water, but you can get some pretty hilarious results from stuff like that. But hey, if you like this video and you want to see peaceful uses of what's nuke, please join me on my journey to a clean, safe, reliable, sustainable nuclear energy future by liking, subscribing, and commenting. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.